So I'm here with my good friend Melissa Fries from Summit Funding, and we just wanted to talk about some of the scary stuff that you're hearing in the media and from a lot of lenders and real estate agents that doesn't have to be scary because there's actually wins to be had in this market.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the things that we're going to jump into, I wanted to ask you, because you had actually shared a success story the other day, and I thought that was amazing. So tell me a little bit about what happened and what you're seeing with seller concessions coming back to the table in this market specifically.
Yeah, so I mean, what's kind of crazy is like for the last 2 or 3 years, nobody's used a seller's concession.
Yeah.
There's like a whole generation of agents that don't even know what that means.
Yeah,
And it's a misnomer, it's a confusing term. Seller concessions doesn't mean that they are giving you the money. It means that you're financing extra money for your closing costs or what could be a rate buy down into your loan. And the seller's allowing you to do that. So what needs to happen is the house needs to appraise for the total amount of the offer price plus whatever seller concession amount is on top to finance the closing costs or the rate buy down.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah, that's a great strategy that's happening right now, and I think that there's a lot of agents that are out there that haven't had to experience that and or had the opportunity to experience that as a strategy to help their buyers. And so I think that's so important for us to be talking about today. So
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah, so, and then the other option is like actually we're getting to negotiate on the buy side again, which is great,
Yes,
instead
yes.
of offering everything, your firstborn, and waiving all of your contingencies and your appraisal and everything. We're actually getting to be like, hey, actually we're gonna offer you market value for the house.
Yep.
And because prices are high and interest rates are high and demand is starting to fall back a little bit as we get more inventory, how about you kick in money for repairs? I had a deal that
Huge.
I actually got the seller to agree to pay $7,000 in closing costs on.
High
They
five.
didn't object at all. I mean, that's a massive win, and that's something
Yeah.
we haven't seen in years.
Yeah. 3+ years, I would say. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I love it. I would say the same thing today in today's market with the rates increasing and some things that are happening with the shifts. We're starting to see that trend go back into the buyer's favor a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of agents haven't realized that that's happening yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Yeah.
you know.
And on the other side, like, we aren't in a full swing to a buyer's
all,
market
yeah.
either. I mean, I got my ass kicked this weekend. We offered $100K over ask, and we did an appraisal gap, and we got beat by an offer that did a 100% appraisal waiver. You know, so it's not like you can go in and just lowball everything on the market. Like,
Yep.
do your comps, do your research. If you are submitting a low offer, like, show the listing agent how you got there. It's kind of nice, like, everybody's starting to treat each other like people again on
Yeah.
both sides.
Not
I like
robots.
that. Like, listing agents are calling me after I show the property to ask how it went. Yeah, so
People are actually doing their job.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's fun. I like people should get excited about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, the market is great. So, yeah, and something that I wanted to talk about was just being able to, buy down, and for buyers to be able to leverage and use those options through seller concessions and or seller credits, and what that kind of looks like. So, a lot of times, buyers don't realize that they have the opportunity to be able to buy down the rate, and that could be something that you would negotiate within the contract as well,
Right.
towards those closing costs. What would that kind of look like?
Yeah, so I mean, that's huge. So I mean, basically, we would want to have a full dialogue with the lender on what the cost of a point is,
Yep.
and then negotiate that down. So you would basically give the buyer like a breakdown, like, hey, if we can get X amount, then we can get your rate down to here, and this is what your payment's going to look like.
Exactly.
So people that were like, oh my God, like I can't afford this house, if they're really tight there,
Yep.
just like a little bit of a seller concession can keep the deal together. And now that we're seeing so many deals fall out of escrow because of rates, or people getting nervous about the market, like a lot of longer days on market, a lot of price drops, like there's room to work with that.
Yeah, definitely. And even, buying down half a point and or a full point, I mean, that makes a huge difference in the monthly payment, and it can take you from your buyer and or your prospect to buy your home to being qualified or not qualified, or vice versa. And so that puts more buyers in your avenue to be able to actually purchase and want to buy your home.
Right.
So if listings aren't going fast, or if there's sellers that are struggling to be able to sell that property, that might be something of negotiation to start thinking about.
Yeah. Yeah, and longer days on market gives opportunities to FHA and VA buyers who didn't have a prayer for like the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So, like those longer days on market, those are houses like you really should target. It doesn't mean there's something wrong. It means like we've had such a pattern of like being able to drive that aggressive price to the moon and get whatever you're asking. So like if you see that past 30 days or you see that new price drop, like that's a house to like take into consideration for your clients, and like start a dialogue with the listing agent, find out what their situation is. Like if it's just a vacation home that they kind of want to offload, maybe they aren't going to be so willing, but a lot of times they've already found the house they want to move into, and those people are going to be really eager to work with you because they need to get that house sold to get into the next one.
Exactly. Definitely.
Yeah.
Awesome. So anything else that you want to kind of touch base on today?
Just, stay optimistic, man.
Yeah.
The economy moves in
Attitude
cycles.
is everything.
Yeah.
Positivity.
And the people who sharpen their skill set in a downturn will be the people that are here talking next year.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for today. I appreciate you guys, touching base with us and popping in, and we look forward to seeing you next time.